Syncing test in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was like 2 seconds after me. Let's.
Okay, so we're after one or after clap?
It'll do 3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was like clap, boom, there. Okay, I'll just remember that. I have a note of that in my recording, so there. All right, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new and improved Talk the Plank podcast. Most of you will not know, but we had a podcast before this called Talk the Plank, and YouTube said no.
It was awesome.
It was amazing. But sadly, YouTube said no.
No.
Oh.
They couldn't handle us.
You got the one episode up, and
then all the others were like, nah.
Just never uploaded. Wouldn't work.
And even that one episode took I don't know how many tries before YouTube said, fine.
Fine, I guess.
Yes. But now we have what we would like to call the Talk the Plank relaunch, where it's the same thing but better.
It's like we had one episode. Can we really relaunch it after that?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We absolutely can. Reboot.
Yes, reboot. The pilot failed, but we're rebooting it. Game of Thrones is a reboot, don't you know? There was a failed pilot that never aired.
Is that true?
Yes.
Or is that
that's
wow,
real?
I never knew that.
And George R. R. Martin was in the pilot.
What?
And apparently it was terrible. And they had like all different actors and everything, and it was terrible.
My God.
I don't know if it was as bad as season 8.
That's freaking crazy. I've never heard that. It was probably close.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, very close.
But I don't necessarily know if anything can quite get to the level of season 8. So
yeah,
that's really saying a whole lot, I think.
Oh boy. So we're just gonna shoot the crap, and we will talk the plank, as they say. No one says that. I just made it up on the spot. The cool kids will say it though. So
we'll say absolutely.
We have had a bunch of time in between the last time we as friends spoke. My name is Zach.
Mitchell.
Yeah, and we are your hosts of Talk the Plank. Boom. I don't have a theme song for this podcast.
That was a good theme song. I think you should use that. Just slip that like into the beginning of every episode.
Yes. Boom. Yeah. And welcome to this first relaunch episode of Talk the Plank. I'm just rambling along, so let's get into how our proverbial weeks or months since we last spoke have been. Aaron.
Very good. It has been very boring around the house, especially for the last month or so, because we've been under quarantine or whatever.
Yeah, so I hear there's a bug going around or something.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, there's been like a pretty small, infectious disease. It hasn't been that big. I don't know. A lot of places haven't really picked up on it yet, but me being the ever cautious person that I am, decided to quarantine myself away from everybody else. Which turned out to be a great idea because I got to play a ton of games while I was locked away due to coronavirus.
When one has
first got to
all
play,
this time, yes.
Yes, with all this month or so. First I played Doom Eternal, which is
yeah.
Awesome. And sorry.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh no, he's cut out.
Looks like he got muted, but did he mute himself? Okay.
He might have accidentally.
Sorry.
There he is.
Sorry, Evan. He did something. Just
don't worry. We'll keep
edit that out.
We'll keep it in.
Yeah, we'll keep it in.
We'll do it live.
All good.
We'll do it live.
Okay, good stuff. But yeah, no. So I played Doom Eternal, which was awesome. I waited on it super long. I saw one person's comments on it, which I thought was really good, which is it's not like Doom 2016, which was like a fast-paced shooter. Instead, it's more akin to like Bayonetta, which is like an action RPG almost.
That's what I've been hearing.
Where comboing all of the demons and utilizing your full arsenal is like basically the point. It's basically like the combo system in like a Bayonetta game or like a like a Devil May Cry game or something, which I thought was really on point. So yeah, Doom Eternal was awesome. And then I've been playing a little known indie gem. Maybe you've heard of it, a le indie gem, underground hit known as Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
Which has quite literally been my life for the last month. I have done nothing but play Persona 5 Royal every single day of April. I've played maybe 4 or 5 hours a day of it. I'm 120 hours in, my second run in. That game is awesome, and I love it. I love it so much. It's so good.
Yeah.
That sounds oddly similar to what I've been doing lately. Just I've been playing older versions. First, I bought and beat Doom 3 because it was on sale.
Oh yeah.
You just
whatever, decent enough.
Just did
decent
versions.
Survival horror.
Yeah. And also playing Persona 3 has been my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been doing the 3s.
There's one I need to pick up.
Yeah, for some reason.
So
no. Technically Doom Eternal is Doom 5, so
yes.
Doom 5, Persona 5.
Oh.
Now you have to give us. You have to make sure to give us at least two fours. On your end.
Well,
let's see if I can.
Well,
do
Nelson,
that.
You got Persona 4. Have you been playing Doom 2016?
4. Oh, geez. Let me think.
You're ruining it. You're ruining the pattern.
Crap.
There's a great bit going here, you know.
Wait. No. Oh, dang it. No, crap. That doesn't work. Crap. Well, okay. So I played a little bit of Total War Warhammer 2, which is the second Total War Warhammer game, but I played Mortal Empires, which is the third campaign for Total War Warhammer, but it's technically the fourth campaign of a Warhammer Total War game because there was a mod for Medieval 2 that was a Warhammer mod, so technically, yes, I have played a 4, along with Persona 4.
He's done it.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it doesn't matter because Persona 3 is technically the fourth Persona game anyway, so...
Well, yeah, that's true.
It doesn't matter.
I've been playing the real Persona 5 is what you're saying? Wait a minute.
Yes.
I've been playing Persona 6. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Let's get this out because there's Persona 3.
Is Persona 5 Royal, Persona 6 Remake, or Persona 7?
Then Persona 3 FES is Persona 5.
Oh, no.
Persona 3 Portable is Persona 6. Persona 4 is Persona 7. Persona 4 Golden is Persona 8. And Persona 5 is Persona 9, which means, Aaron, you've been playing Persona 10.
It's a multiple of 5.
So it doesn't matter.
It matters immensely. Listen,
Yeah.
I had to
so I know you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys. Oh yes, that's true. Do you consider the dancing game or the Persona 5 crossover with whatchamacallit, that game where maybe crossover with it too.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Hyrule or
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors.
Oh
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah. They made a dynasty. They made a dynasty.
The Persona 5 Dynasty
Dynasty Warriors.
I have not played it. I have not seen anything about it because of Atlus's really stupid policies about streaming or recording anything from that game.
God. Yeah, so bad. But yeah, I think they have the Dynasty Warriors. I think they have special skins in Persona 5 Royal that you can get for all the characters too. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Well, when I buy Persona 5, I'm gonna buy the deluxe edition, so I'll get all of the skins.
I'm really curious because I know you talked about playing Persona 5. I don't know if you talked about playing it, Mitchell, but if
I'm waiting for the PlayStation 5 to come out.
Because they're gonna.
I'm gonna catch up on a lot of PlayStation stuff.
Yeah. It'll definitely be backwards compatible with PS4. Hopefully, it will just be a PlayStation that plays every kind of PlayStation game, but
yeah, hopefully they have like a big online store library or something.
It's at least something like that.
Yeah.
As you guys play it, I'm really curious to know what you think is the best palace and what you think is the worst palace. Because for me, and this is spoiler free, so I'm not going to say anything. But for me, the best palace is like sort of up in the air. I think all of the palaces sort of collectively are sort of like, which by the way, palaces, because I know isn't it that in the older Persona games there was just one big dungeon that you work through throughout the entirety of the game. Like in Persona 3 or 4, it's Tartarus, right?
Yeah, here's
Persona 3, you just kind of have one big thing, and
yeah. So in Persona 3, you have your main dungeon Tartarus, which is completely randomly generated, and it's kind of crap. But every few floors, the palette and music changes. Like not the battle music, but the regular music changes. But then for every month, every full moon, you get a new dungeon that's outside of Tartarus, and it's big story stuff, and you do stuff there. That's how that works.
It's barely a dungeon.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's straight to the boss fight. Even like
pretty much, yeah. It's mainly just a big story event. The dungeon itself is just go down this corridor.
It's kind of just cutscenes, mostly followed by boss fight.
The most was that one. The only thing I remember about it was it had like an animated cutscene in the middle of it where like everyone passes out and then you wake up and it's like you're in like a hotel or something. I can't remember.
And then Yukari slaps the shit out of you.
Yes. But then
just like a true anime.
It is an anime.
Yeah.
But Persona 4, you have different dungeons for each of the events. Usually, like each character has a dungeon that you go through for, and they're all randomly generated. But the randomly generated dungeons are better than Persona 3's randomly generated dungeons. And as far as I'm aware, I haven't beaten the game. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any like crafted dungeons at all.
Okay, yeah. Because in Persona 5, the way it works is they're basically only crafted like dungeons that are centered around specific characters. And then there's one big general randomly generated dungeon that you go through called Mementos. Which,
the Smash Bros. Stage.
Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, because in general, it's a toss-up as to which palace, which that's what the character-driven dungeons are called in Persona 5 palaces. It's a toss-up for me which one's the best. But there is no question in my mind which one is the worst. And like, I just know that the second you guys get to this very specific palace, it's going to click for you in your mind. Like, this is the palace Aaron was talking about. And I so badly want to talk about this terrible palace. So please, you have to play Persona 5 Royal as soon as possible.
It's going to take me a while, buddy.
I will get to it.
To get through Persona 3, I'm sure. You got 3 more runs in you.
Yeah, I'm doing my max social link run, which is a nightmare, by the way, because it is down to the day. I have to follow a guide, and it is down to the day.
I bet.
That's how precise I have to be.
Every day, you have to do this right now. Do this. Also, you have to go through the dungeon in one shot.
Yeah,
all the way
you get
through.
Like 1 day to go to get as far as you can in the dungeon. You get like 1 day, a month.
Okay, so it's max social link. Are you doing all of Elizabeth's requests?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep, that's not fun.
Yeah, it's like I haven't figured out yet whether or not I can do all the relationships in Persona 5, like on my current run, like if there's any wiggle room or not. It seems like there's going to be wiggle room, but at the same time, I have been deceived before. So right now, I'm trying to maximize literally all relationships for my second run. But it's getting a little dicey right now because I've made, let's say, a few bad choices along the way. Maybe I haven't chosen the right dialogue, maybe made a few characters a little mad at me. Don't they have the thing in Persona 3 and 4 where you can actually lose your confidants or whatever? You can lose your
you can get stuck in a rut if you really make them mad.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's like, I think just the romance options, the 5 romance options. What it is like if you get to the point, because Persona 3 is kind of dumb where you have no choice but to get into a romantic relationship with the romance options.
Yep.
So you go through, and if you get to the point where it starts the romance, like for some characters it's like rank 4, some it's rank 6 or 7, whatever.
Yeah, Chihiro starts super quick.
Yeah, Chihiro starts really
I got whiplash
quick.
from her social links. Her social link basically goes from, hey, let's go hang out at the used bookstore, to I dream about you every single night.
Yeah.
Real quick.
But yeah, it goes... once you're in a romantic relationship with them, if you get to a point where you're in a romantic relationship with another person, the first person gets real mad and their social link reverts, and you have to do stuff for them to get them back.
You have to like go pray at a shrine to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Which is a full day event, which is a full day that you're not maxing out social links.
Yep.
That's awful. Yeah, I was watching a video on YouTube like 2 days ago or something, and apparently that was originally planned for Persona 5, but they took it out. So you can't get a bad relationship with anybody, which is awesome.
But you can, you can get
5,
that one date on Valentine's Day.
I was just about to say, does Persona 3 and or 4 have a harem ending like Persona 5?
Well, I will get back to you in a minute. I will let you guys know.
Because in Persona 5, you can get in a relationship with all of the female characters at once, completely, while all the other characters are ignorant of all of the other characters' relationship with you. And then on Valentine's Day in the game, you can invite them all over to your house at once, and you get one big harem Valentine's Day. I haven't watched the video for it yet, but I've seen the thumbnail, and oh my god, it looks amazing.
Oh no!
I actually have seen that video, and it's freaking great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you know what happens in Persona 3.
All right. Give them. All right. Give them to me. Who is the best character and the worst character in Persona 3 and 4?
That is quite easy for Persona 3. The best character is Elizabeth, and the worst character is Fuka.
Okay, we agree on Fuka being the worst.
Yes, everyone can agree.
We agree on our top 3.
Except everyone agrees that Fuka is the worst, except for those few people who just absolutely despise Yukari.
Yeah, for some reason, Yukari's not even that bad.
Yeah, I agree. But the top 3, we both agree, is Elizabeth, Aigis, and Mitsuru.
Yeah, we just argue about the order. For me, it's Aigis, Elizabeth, Mitsuru.
It is Elizabeth, Mitsuru, Aigis.
No.
But I can agree that Aigis is the best character. I haven't played it, but I can agree to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and for Persona 4, the waifu wars were between Chie and Rise, and that was the war in those. And I say you're both wrong. It's Naoto. Naoto's baby. Naoto's best waifu.
I haven't even played it yet, but you showed me a picture of Naoto, and I'm already sold.
Naoto's best waifu. For me, Rise is really close second though.
I know.
I got to the point in her. I just got to the point in her social link where you have the choice to date her or not, and I chose not. But it was like, oh man.
Oh no.
If I were just playing this without knowledge that you could date Naoto, I would probably go with that option.
The only character from Persona 4 that I know is Chie, so I would probably go with her in all cases.
Yeah, well, that's a decision.
Yeah,
Chie's fine, but I don't want to date her.
Yeah, looking through these images here, I think you guys have good taste.
Yes, good.
Are you Googling Naoto right now?
The worst option, of course, is Yukiko. Everyone hates Yukiko.
Okay, I have no idea who that is.
She's just bland boring.
No. No, wait, I think I do know because I've read like the Hidden Daisy Persona 4 comics.
Yeah, she might be the only social link in the party that I don't finish, because I am determined to finish Rise, Naoto, and I'm determined to finish Rise and Naoto. Those are the only ones I haven't finished, along with Yukiko. Well,
how many?
Besides Teddy, but Teddy is automatic throughout the game.
How many social links are there in Persona 3 and 4? Because there are 22 in Persona 5.
I have not counted.
Oh boy.
Is it somewhere around there? Somewhere around 22?
It's something like that, yeah.
It's a good number.
I think it's 20 in Persona 3.
I think it's actually 23 because they added a new character for Persona 5.
Yeah.
Royal.
I think
Persona Kasumi.
Yeah. I think Persona 4 Golden is 22 because they added 2 in for Golden. One is a character who is like a kind of more of a side character, but he does some stuff at the ending, so they added in a social link for him to actually develop him before that cool thing at the end.
Makes sense.
And there's a whole they added in a whole ending related to him. So when you play through Persona 4 Golden, I highly recommend going for him, because the ending that he has is like a joke ending, but still I recommend getting him. And then the other social link they added is a completely new original social link for a character that just about everyone I've heard talk about her hates, because she's terrible.
Boy. That's wonderful.
Marie is trash.
Alright, I'll have to try and play Persona 4 somehow.
But the problem is, Marie, you have to max out her social link, otherwise you can't get the ultimate new true ending.
Oh yeah. That's how it was for me. Persona 5 and Kasumi, though. There was another character. There were two other characters too that you need to get to like rank 8 and 9 to get the true ending. And like I was one away, one of those stars away from getting the true ending the first time around, and I didn't get it. And when I looked that up, I was so upset.
Could you just like reload a couple months, like a month away, and
after I saw what I had to do and that I didn't get it, I was literally just like pacing around my room like, oh, dang, should I start a new game plus? I really want that true ending. Because at first I tried to look up the true ending, but the only versions of the true ending online are the dubbed versions, and I played the game with subtitles and the original Japanese voices.
Oh, you trash weeb.
I'm a total weeb. 100% weeb.
Yeah. Man, I remember when you said anime was stupid? And that you would never watch it. And then we broke you.
Poor silly soul. I look back upon those days in shame. This is my true self. My weeb self is the truest version of myself.
We created a monster.
Anywhere. So I was just like, screw it. I'm playing it again, baby. Here we go. And so now I'm like 50 hours into my second run. Pretty crazy.
There you go.
Yeah. In Persona 3, I had to completely redo a month because I messed up somewhere and I figured it out. You may have seen my freak out in the text messages.
Yeah.
So I figured it out. I went to Tartarus on the one day I wasn't supposed to. I needed to stay home so I could get a phone call from a character and go on a date with them.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
And that was it. And that messed up so much stuff that I had to redo an entire month. And I was just pacing around the room like, do I just keep going and hope I can fix this? Because I get like 3 free days at the end of the year. And can I fix it in that time, or will I just make things worse? And do I start over, or what do I do? And I was just freaking out.
The nuclear option and went back like a month in time.
Yep. Yeah.
See, that's one of the things I'm like kind of worried about, because I plan on going through Persona 3 again, because I've already started a playthrough on P3 Portable with the female protagonist. Because that's an option in P3 Portable, and it makes everyone fight over whether you should play P3 FES or P3 Portable, and which is the better version. Because P3 FES has the much better presentation, and P3 Portable has a female protagonist, a whole other campaign.
I've heard P3 Portable is like the best way to play from what I've heard.
From everything I've heard, if you play it through your first time, you should really do FES, because presentation-wise, the ending of that game is neutered by Portable. And I've watched the ending on Portable, and it's like, yeah, that's not nearly as good.
Yeah, FPS is a good way to start.
I like the idea.
And if you want to play female character, then do Portable second, because they kind of have to skip stuff.
Yeah. I do like the idea.
You should play the female protagonist second anyway, because that's what they recommend when you're choosing one or the other. And there's like a certain thing in the game, a certain event that you can actually avoid if you play as the female protagonist and you do certain things. So
that's neat.
Yeah.
In Persona 3 and 4, do the confidants or the social links or whatever, do they correspond to tarot cards like in Persona 5?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The big difference is in Persona 3, the only thing you get from social links aside from story stuff and dating characters is the bonus experience for personas.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
In 4,
I think you get like a super persona if you max them all in one run.
Yeah. But
for the super boss, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah, but Persona 4, if you date the party members, or not date, if you social link the party members, they'll do stuff in battle for you. Like if you get them to a certain point, they get a new ability. If you get them to a certain point, they'll help people. They'll help up people who have been knocked down if they can sometimes. And then or if they're not in the party, they'll come in for a separate attack on their own. And it's really,
you
really
reached
cool.
rank 2 with Yosuke.
Yeah,
Yosuke will now die for you.
Yes. And then there's parts
I've seen that one.
They will take a mortal blow for you.
Yep.
I got to that point with Kanji just recently when I finished his social link, and it's like Kanji will now take a mortal blow for you, which is great because I hate the fact that in these games, if the protagonist goes down, doesn't matter that the rest of the party's up. Who cares?
God, I hate it so
doesn't matter how many revival items you have. Doesn't matter if Igus can revive me. Nope, you're dead.
And it really sucks because I just finished playing some Final Fantasy games, and that's not the case. Even if Cloud goes down or if Zidane goes down, doesn't matter. You can get them back up with someone else, and it's great.
Yep. So how does Hamamuda work in the other two games?
It's instant death.
Hanamuda? What's that?
Hama
the light
and
dark.
Hamamuda. What is
the light
that?
and dark spells.
Oh yeah, no, that's I don't think. The light and dark. Well, they do have bless and curse in Persona 5. That's what they call the.
I guess they changed the names.
Yep.
Are
the curse spells are.
Yeah, it's always. I love having a game over because of a 20% instant kill. It's great.
They have So there's bless and curse are just element types in the game, so you can just do bless damage or curse damage. But they do have the insta kill moves. So they have like there's use this move for a high chance at a curse insta kill. Use this move for a high chance at a bless insta kill, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So
That's a little. Okay. That's not as bad.
That still sounds nice because it's always terrible when I use a Hama skill against a weak enemy and it just misses.
Yeah.
And then have my party's dead.
Listen, man, here's what I do. Here's my strategy currently for going through dungeons in Persona 4 Golden. I have my Justice Arcana persona that I just shove every element on, and also a Mahama skill with Hama boost, so that if I need to take out an enemy with an insta-kill move, boom, they're all dead, and it's great. And I also
that still doesn't work for me. I have a persona that can do that. It doesn't work.
I also have Null Dark because all Justice Arcana personas I think are weak to dark spells. So I have Null Dark on there so that I don't just eat a bad Mudo skill and have to go back to the start of the dungeon.
That makes sense. My biggest problem in Persona 5 is I just never use buff or debuff spells. So for the worst palace, just to give you a bit of a tiny glance. Again, no spoilers here, but the boss, if you are not a master of buffing and debuffing, that boss is impossible to beat. Literally impossible. So the first time I went up against him, I died maybe oh God, I don't even know, 10 times before I finally beat him. And then I just refought him yesterday. And even then, even going in with all of my end game loot, so all of my end game armor, weapons, guns, etc., and with a super maxed out persona that I specifically spent all of my time working just to get really good for this one fight, it still took me 5 tries. I hate that boss so much, and I can't stop ranting about this stupid palace. I'm sorry, I can't get it out.
Oh boy, should I rant about the final boss of Persona 3 that charged me twice? And I was the only healer because I don't trust the AI because you can't directly control your party members in Persona 3.
Oh, I forgot.
It charged me twice, and I healed it back to full twice.
That'd be torture.
And also, if you do that, it stays in the final phase of the fight the whole time.
It's a nightmare. Which is why it's a good thing I'm emulating the game, and I can just scumbag save and reload. Because forget that nonsense.
I was just talking with Zach about how to play Persona 3 because I really wanted to play Persona 3. What emulator are you using? RPCS3 or something like that?
PCSX2.
I'm going to use that because I've been wanting now that I've mastered Persona 5, and
Yeah.
I'm about to get almost all of the social links, but I know I'm not going to be able to get them all because I've screwed up so many times. I'm going to jump over to P3
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
P3
There's a lot
is
of
fantastic.
quality of life stuff you're gonna miss, but
Yeah,
it's good enough.
Yeah,
it's fun.
You will miss a lot of stuff, including being able, when you use personas, you can't choose which skills transfer over.
Oh, that's so.
Nope, it's all random. If you want a specific skill, you gotta go in, make sure it's there. If not, back out, try again. Back out, try again.
Yep. And
it's terrible.
It sucks. But once you get that frickin' Mog persona that I had that had charm boost on it, and just it's this coffin with a reptile arm sticking out that charms people. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Oh man, those are great games.
I gotta say, no, there are no real characters in Persona 5 that just like totally stand out to me. Like whenever I asked you guys to name the best characters in 3 and 4, like immediately you were like, oh yeah, it's Aigis. Oh yeah, it's Elizabeth. Like I don't think I can really do that for Persona 5. Like there aren't really any characters in it that stand out to me. Like I said, Kasumi is probably one of my favorite, but that was only really after thinking about it super hard. Like I don't know. I do like all the characters collectively as one big whole, but I think it's really hard to say who the best character in Persona 5 probably is. If I really had to go with it, gun to my head, I'd probably say like Makoto or something.
Yeah, that's the correct choice.
I've heard a lot of things, people voting for Makoto.
I say Makoto just from character design alone, although An is pretty close. And
I think she has probably the best personality of any of the characters. Like most of the other characters are sort of, I'm not gonna say one note because they're not. I think they're all really well developed, but most of them have like that identifiable quirk that you see in like a lot of anime where like so like Yusuke, one of the characters, his whole thing is that he's an artist, and so he can't shut up about how about like analyzing everything from like an art perspective. Like he looks like at a building, he's like, oh yes, the beautiful architecture, yes, yes. As you can see, that's a 16th century design right there, and things like that. But
Matt Mercer in the dub.
That's awesome. Dang, I should have done the dub. I should have done that for my second playthrough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just switch over.
Yeah. And Vic Mignogna plays a character in Persona 3.
Yes, Vic Mignogna plays a character in Persona 3, and he's like my favorite character in the whole game.
It's great.
He's also even better in P3 Portable when you play as a lady character, because then you can do a whole social link with him.
Oh, that's nice.
And outside of like one part at the beginning that's honestly just kind of out of character, he's freaking amazing.
Is Johnny in Persona 3 or 4? The character Johnny?
Johnny.
Is there a Johnny?
Junpei?
I recently unlocked a costume for Johnny for Yusuke in Persona 5. I'm like, what? I'm like, I've never heard of that character, which I can only assume they must be from Persona 2 or 1, or excuse me, from Persona 2, Persona 2 2, or Persona 1.
It's probably one of those because I can't think of a character named Johnny in any of them. I know characters that are voiced by Johnnies, but
yeah. No. He has like a brown coat and like a white shirt. He's pretty. It looks pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not ringing a bell.
Oh yeah, don't look up a lot of the voice cast, because for Persona 3 in particular, there's like 2 characters that share a voice actor, and it's like, oh, there's reasons behind that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will avoid that at all costs.
Yep.
But if you just ask us, and we will tell you who voices characters.
Yeah, I'll be sure to come to you guys first.
So we'll be able to have more in-depth discussions about Persona once we've all played, games that are similar. Like the only game we have in common between us is that both me and Mitchell have played 3.
Yep.
Outside of that,
but it's okay, because I know you guys are all gonna play Persona 5 Royal for sure. And
I am
tomorrow you're gonna go out and buy it.
I have been looking at it in the PlayStation Store, just like, oh, gotta beat 4.
Yep. Yeah, but my plan is to wait for the PlayStation 5 to come out. And
Yeah, that's smart.
But until then,
play.
you can play Persona 4.
Yeah, I gotta find like a Vita or something first.
Yeah, a Vita or a Vita TV.
Yeah. Vita TVs kind of are expensive where I'm looking.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know what the emulation situation is.
Non-existent as far as I've Googled.
No. I had to dust off my Vita, which I affectionately call my Persona machine.
Mm-hmm.
My Persona machine.
That's the reason I bought it. I paid like $100-something to a guy on Craigslist for Persona to play Persona 4.
Poor Vita.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is that I'm still working during all this nonsense, so I at least have money to spend on stuff.
Yeah, doing better than
so
me.
I could buy a Vita.
My job disappeared. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I work out in the middle of farmland, so
yeah, no point in quarantining for out
like
there.
I literally don't interact with anyone at work. I just text my boss when I'm at the site and when I leave.
Dang, that must be nice.
It's kind of nice.
And
it's got to get a little bit lonely.
just
you're
listen,
like, hey,
listen to
I'm
the
here.
podcast.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Here, guys.
Just don't worry about me, okay? I'm okay, guys. I'm just gonna go out for some birds and stuff. Just don't worry about it. Okay?
Oh, I tripped and broke my leg. I hope someone comes and finds me. Oh, someone will eventually, right?
So yeah, I'm not quite that far out of society.
Yeah, not yet. You haven't become a hermit.
Yeah, no, I have cell reception everywhere on the site.
Gee, I wish I had cell reception anywhere. My phone just started like not getting reception anywhere.
Dang, that sucks.
So I have to call Verizon, see if they can fix that, because it was only after we switched to Verizon that started happening. So I don't know what happened, and it's only my phone. It's no one else on the plan. It's just my phone. Isn't that nice?
Interesting.
It's nice. Oh, I didn't even say what the worst character in Persona 5 was.
Yeah.
Oda. Oda is the worst character.
Oda.
At least as far as I can tell. He's a little kid.
Is that the no? Okay, it's not. So it's not the guy with the get smoked hat.
With the what?
The hat, isn't there? Or maybe that was.
That's him. That's him.
Am I thinking of? Am I thinking of memes that I saw for Persona 5 around when it came out? Was that a meme? Was get smoked a meme?
No, it's a kid. It's a kid.
I only know one thing, one name from Persona 5.
Get smoked.
Okay, so the kid wears a hat that says get smoked.
Yep. I don't really care about him.
Okay.
Yeah. Then again, I will say he is like literally the last character that you unlock for social links, like in the story. So I've only gotten like 3 out of 10 stars through his relationship. So he could get more interesting down the line.
But is he?
I should also say that
is he going to be as interesting as your barista dad?
Oh no, Sojiro's maybe he's top tier. He's probably S tier. I would say Sojiro is awesome. I love him. What a guy.
Oh, boy.
Also, your last party character literally gets just like thrown under the bus story wise. The last party character gets no story time whatsoever. It gets like nothing, no time with the main character. And again, she is like before Oda the kid is probably like the second to last social link you unlock. So like literally there's like no time at the end of the game to spend with her. So it's so bad.
Sounds like a lot of actually great characters in the other 2 Persona games.
Yeah.
Like I guess you have last month to hang out with, and that's it.
You have to hang out with no one but Igus to max her out in time.
And
but I did it.
And Haru, who's the choice is everybody says she's like the sleeper hit. Like nobody ever like hangs out with her, but like if you do, it's like she's the best.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm gonna hang out with her this run.
Yeah.
See how I still have.
I'm gonna do max social link runs on all of the Persona games. So
yeah.
Well, 3, 4, and 5.
And Naoto comes in pretty close to the end of Persona 4. I'm in like towards the end of October, and I just got to rank 1 with her.
God, you're running out of time.
Why do all the best girls show up at the end?
Well, Elizabeth was there from the beginning.
I think I'm at the end of October, and I still haven't unlocked Haru. I have like 2 months left in the game. Haven't unlocked her.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
Yep.
does I think Royal added like another month on top of it, right? Because I know Golden adds another month. Does Royal add a month?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
After I think it's the 6th or 7th palace is another month or so. And I think there's another palace for the true ending. I can't remember, and I haven't gotten it yet, so I don't exactly know. But yeah, it adds on
Another palace. Oh, jeez.
Crazy. They added in so much content. So much
That's what I was hearing. Like,
I looked at
I think they added like an extra hard dungeon added on to Tartarus, didn't it, on FES?
Yeah, Fess, I think they added in. I can't remember exactly what they added. They added in dating, going on dates with Elizabeth, which is the best thing it added. They added in.
I don't think I guess was available.
Yeah, I guess a social link. There's some reworks in the balancing and balances. Yeah. But the main thing it added was the answer, which is trash, and you should never play it or even look at it.
Is the answer?
Okay, so there was this thing.
No, there's like another dungeon that's off the side of Tartarus. There's like a door on the main floor.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I accidentally went through it not knowing what it was and immediately got wrecked.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, what's this door? I don't remember this being... Ow!
Yeah. But anyway, the answer... okay, so there was this thing that some Japanese PS2 games would do way back in the day where when they would have a re-release of the game, they would add in like a whole like new campaign in the game. Silent Hill 2 did this, I know. And in general, they're all bad.
Oh, nice.
And Persona 3 FES added in the answer. So when you go to the main menu and you choose new game, you can choose
the journey.
The journey.
You want the journey.
Yes, there's the journey and there's the answer. The answer is a new campaign that they added into Persona 3 FES. And from every single person I've talked to who played it, it's one of the most miserable experiences playing a Persona game ever. It's got like...
Yeah, isn't it just locked on hard mode? Which basically just means the RNG hates you even more than it already does.
The RNG hates you. All of the enemies are like interspersed with like this enemy's weak to fire. This enemy repels fire, and they're in the same fight. And then there's also the fact that the biggest issue is you don't have access to the Persona Compendium.
Oh, that is awful.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, screw that. Also, the story is absolute trash. Don't even watch the cutscenes. I did. The day after I beat Persona 3, I went and because I was deathly curious, I watched the cutscenes for the answer, and it actually soured the ending of Persona 3 for me, which is a real freaking shame, because Persona 3 is one of my favorite endings of any video game ever.
Okay. That's awful.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Don't play it.
Yeah. Now, Nelson, did you go watch the Persona 3 movies?
Oh, no, I haven't. Did you say those are on Netflix or Amazon?
No, they're pirated.
Oh, right.
Illegal streamed.
Don't worry about it.
No, illegally streamed.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Just bleep it out.
Completely legal streams.
Yes.
I don't know. You could probably find it with a VPN.
I've heard apparently the Persona 5 movies are not good.
Oh, the Persona 5 anime? Yeah, don't bother. From everything I've heard it's like completely pointless.
Yeah, from what I've heard is it's literally just the game and that's it. Like there's no change whatsoever.
Yep. The Persona 4 anime is pretty similar from what I've heard, but the weird thing is like the Persona 4 anime, it like has segments in the Velvet Room, but it doesn't actually have those in the story. They just appear in the anime, and it's there basically just to explain like, hey, you has a new power up because he's been spending time with this person.
Interesting.
And if they weren't there, it would the issue is that you would suddenly have new powers all out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, not handled the best.
Another thing they added in P5 Royal was a ton of new animations, which are awesome.
Oh boy.
They're really good. Yeah. Especially I think they added a ton for new endings and stuff.
Oh.
They added in, I think, like 10 new endings or something like that. Something crazy like that. Yeah. Super cool.
Oh,
wow,
one thing you should check out for the answer is the soundtrack, because the soundtrack was still freaking top notch.
Speaking of top notch soundtracks, Persona 5 Royal soundtrack slaps. It just slaps. I don't know who composed it, but by God,
welcome to the world of Persona soundtracks.
Good. Yeah. God, it's so good. I really love like I texted you. There are costumes in Persona 5 Royal, which you put them on, and during battle you get the battle music from the previous Persona games. There's one, I cannot remember the name of it. It's like a samurai costume almost. It's not quite samurai. It's like samurai mixed with like police. So you look like a police officer dressed in like a samurai garb. I'm pretty sure it's like Persona 1 or Persona 2, and the battle music on that is I legitimately had to battle myself on whether or not I wanted the Persona 5 battle music or that, because it was so good.
Oh.
Like, good God. I don't know for the music, but God, it's so good. They do such a great job.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I loved all the battle themes. I listened to all of them because I put on all the different costumes, and God, they're so good.
Yeah. 4 is probably the weakest in terms of just regular battle theme.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I love 4, and I love its battle theme, but it's probably the weakest of the 3. Because there are 3 Persona games, guys. There's only 3.
Yep.
Only 3.
Persona starts at 3.
Yep.
Just like Resident Evil starts at 4.
Yep.
Yep.
And then there's 3's battle music.
Oh man, 3's battle music is so good.
Pretty good.
I'll probably end up liking 5's soundtrack the most, just because of stylistically it's more my style than either 3 or 4.
It is the heavy jazz influences with the I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, the heavy jazz influences.
Yeah, acid is the genre that it is.
Yeah.
And then like Persona 3 is more hip hop. And hip hop and like just grunge rock.
Yeah.
And Persona 4 is more kind of pop rock. And they're all freaking great.
The freaking the final boss theme for Persona 5 is just, oh my God, it's probably one of my favorite songs from any game ever.
Hey Mitchell, how about that final boss theme for Persona 3, eh?
Don't talk about that final boss.
But how about the music, though?
I don't remember the music. I was too busy trying not to chuck my controller through a fucking wall.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's how I felt for that one palace boss fight. Because the final boss fight in Persona 5, no spoilers. Again, no spoilers. Not that bad, actually. Not that bad. No. It's good that it's not that bad, because then you can focus on how hard that soundtrack slaps.
Yeah.
The song is called "Rivers in the Desert." You gotta look it up.
I will hold off until I have beaten the game. I have seen that. Here's the thing: every time I look up something like, "Hey, I want to listen to like the title theme for Persona 5 because it's great," and then I see "Rivers in the Desert," and I'm like, I should probably hold off on that.
There's the one video that's like, players react to let's players react to "Rivers in the Desert," and the thumbnail is the final freaking boss, and it's like, what? No, stop it! What are you doing?
Like, oh, come on!
Thanks. I will make sure not to look at that video.
Yeah. All right, so avoid that. All right.
Avoid that. Don't look at the final boss for Persona 3.
Nope. Don't do it.
And also, don't look at the final boss for Persona 4 because Persona 4 is basically a murder mystery.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah, it is okay. So,
hey, don't look up in-game spoilers, Aaron. How about that?
Yes.
Just don't look up spoilers.
That's pretty good advice.
Hey, okay. Do you guys remember Part 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I sure do.
That's Persona 4.
Awesome. Long rambling monologue.
I remember what I've watched up to this point.
You need to finish. You need to finish Part 4, man.
I've been busy maxing out social links.
Gotta finish. Diamond does not crash.
Yeah, but my social links.
Diamond does not crash though.
But social links.
Oh boy.
Have you guys been watching anything particularly interesting as of late? Been talking for
I have been watching just tons of episodes of Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Uncensored Kitchen Nightmares.
Of course.
I haven't really been watching anything.
Company episodes still one of the best.
It's still one of the best. And then each episode, like, hey, I remember this episode. This was one of my favorite. Oh, this episode's depressing now because what happened? The restaurant shut down.
Wow.
About a year later, it shut down because they went back and started doing the crap they were doing before.
It seems like it happens a lot.
I read something. It was like 85% of the restaurants that were on the show ended up closing down at some point.
Dang, they were just terminal.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't go on a show called Kitchen Nightmares if you're doing good.
Yeah, it's true.
But like one of them closed like 2 days after the episode aired. And another one closed down before the episode even aired. So when you watch the episode and you get to the end, it's like, they closed down because the debts were too big.
Yeah.
You get this real happy moment and Gordon talking to the camera and saying, "I have real hope for this restaurant." They closed down.
It's like part of his like scripted outro, like, oh yeah, I feel so grateful, even as like he's giving like a thumbs up and the restaurant's on fire in the background.
Yeah. Oh man. And then there's the one where you look up stuff and it's like, okay, this dad is like following in his own dad's footsteps. He's trying to force his son into his own business. He talks about, my father wanted him to force me into the family business and I didn't want to do that. And then you look up the guy and it's like, oh, his dad was like a mob boss. So when he says his dad wanted to force him into the family business, that business was organized crime. The story got a lot darker.
Okay.
That's why they have so much money. That's why they had like millions of dollars to open this restaurant in LA.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any anime you guys have been watching?
No.
I haven't been watching much of anything really.
The only thing I've watched really is I've watched 4 episodes of season 7 of Clone Wars, but I haven't caught up with it. I haven't kept up with it.
That's my favorite anime.
Dude, it's so good. It's the best Japanese animation.
He was super hyped about hearing that come back because he watched it a ton when he was a kid growing up.
Oh man!
And like when he heard, I was the first person he told when it was coming back.
So
he was like, yeah. But in opposition to you guys, I have been watching so much anime that my eyeballs have been melting inside of my skull. Let's see. In the past month or so, what all have I watched? I watched Little Witch Academia.
Yeah.
Love Little Witch Academia. God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Such a lovable little idiot. I love her. And then after that, I got on a huge freaking Studio Trigger kick. So I decided to watch Kill la Kill right afterwards.
Oh yeah.
The most insane show that I have ever seen.
Gurren Lagann?
I was just about to say probably outside of Gurren Lagann because I love Gurren Lagann so much. Yeah, no, but Kill la Kill is probably a solid second place in terms of pure insanity. Just literally the opening scene of that show. I've never seen a show set the tone as well as the opening scene of Kill la Kill. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil
He's like, strap in. Here's what you're in for.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Strap in. We're taking you on a ride for this one.
You go. Speaking of
Oh
straps.
yeah, but lots of half naked women in that show.
It's like, strap in, because the straps are the only thing they're wearing.
Whole new level.
The straps. Strap in.
As long as we
boy,
don't draw the genitalia, it doesn't count as nudity, right?
Yeah. Hey, I love.
If we just add a little pink glow around where the nipple should be, it's fine, right?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's totally fine, you guys.
Listen, man. We're doing more than what Interspecies Reviewers was doing, so we're fine.
Oh God. I forgot about that show. Hey, I'll put that one on the list too.
Oh
that
no.
one's gonna be
that was the one where you're talking about the hyena girl.
Yes.
It was like those dudes getting railed by hyena girl, and I go, "Oh, that makes perfect sense." And I look over at Aaron, and the look on Aaron's face was priceless. Of just like shock and concern about why do I know this?
Oh boy.
Oh, it makes perfect sense because female hyenas have pseudopenises.
Yes.
And I look over.
For you listeners who are unaware, Interspecies Reviewers
is
an
porn.
anime that recently came about and was dropped by everyone who was distributing it because the anime is basically just pornography.
It's just porn. It's
just straight up porn.
It's just straight up porn.
Yep.
Like they
should watch it for your
the version that airs on TV has moments where the screen just blacks out and there's text on the screen that says, "We hope you enjoy this sensation for the ears." And then someone literally took the uncensored versions of the episodes and just started uploading them to Pornhub.
What? Oh, okay. There was another show that I was that just came out that's basically the same thing where it's literally just porn, but like it's just ecky to the umpteenth degree. What oh God, what was it called? Because I remember I was browsing anime memes on Reddit, and like somebody posted a meme from this show, and I went down to the comments because I was like, oh, this looks super interesting, and everybody in the comments was like, guys, don't watch it. It's just porn. It's just porn, guys. It's like no. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I'll have to look it up after this. But yeah, so another show recently paid the same. Recently had the same fate. But yeah, so those kind of shows are fun. Interspecies Reviewers, 5 stars. I give it 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
But yeah, so I watched Kill la Kill, which had a great plot. Lots of good. I watched it for the plot. Very good plot.
I watched it for the
huge plot.
Huge plots.
All of the plots.
Very massive plots.
Yes. Yep. Then after that, I started which I shouldn't have started on this because I know that I can only watch anime that are finished. I started on Brand New Animal, which is Trigger's newest anime, which is basically it's literally just the anime version of Zootopia. That's literally like basically the plot of the show, basically.
A lot of animal stuff going around, huh?
Except instead of carnivores versus herbivores, it's animal people versus humans, where the animal people are like pushed and discriminated and pushed out of society and etc. And it's about this one girl who started as a human but became an animal person, and about how she became that and how she's super special and stuff. So it's pretty good. They released the first 6 episodes.
So it's furries.
Yes.
Online. Yeah, it's furries. Yeah, it's furries the show.
It's furries the anime.
Just
lovely.
Furries the show.
It's the newest version of Furries the show.
Well, I would say the newest version of Furries the show is
Beastars.
Beastars.
Yeah, Beastars. I would say.
Yeah, but Beastars is too anatomically correct.
Yeah.
It's not like the rabbit isn't a rabbit girl. It's a rabbit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the creator of that show actually came out and said she's a furry, so that's pretty great for Beastars. Yeah. So I started watching that, but only the first 6 episodes came out, and that was like a month ago, maybe. So they've released, I think, like maybe 3 or 4 more episodes. Because what they did was they released the first 6 episodes in Netflix in Japan, like a month before they started airing it in America.
Of course.
So yeah, so it's okay. I found some very legitimate sources online that he dubbed over the Japanese version.
Yes.
And I watched those.
It was very, very legal, guys. Don't worry about it.
Very legal.
Very good. Very
It was like how I watch Persona 3 movies. Don't worry about it.
Very, very legal. Very legal.
Totally legal.
It's very legal for this thing that won't let us give them their money.
Yep.
But yeah, so I watched that, and then I started on because I've watched so much anime in the last year.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. But what was it that I watched last? One sec. Actually, I kept the list. One sec. I kept the list. I'm gonna pull it up.
While you're on a Studio Trigger binge, you need to watch Space Patrol Luluco.
I actually watched most of Space Patrol Luluco. Actually, like.
Oh yeah.
No man. Inferno Cop.
Yeah.
You gotta watch Inferno Cop.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen Inferno Cop.
Yeah.
Inferno Cop is usually the best thing Studio Trigger.
Best animation of the decade, right there.
I can't even say 10 out of 10 because that would be underrating it. 100 out of 10.
The most animation ever.
Yep.
Yeah, man. If you thought Kill la Kill had fluid animation, oh boy.
Oh boy.
You better watch Inferno Cop.
Yeah, okay, so right there is my record of when I started watching Kill la Kill. Animal. Trying to because I know what I'm watching. Did I really? Okay, so I did. I started watching Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin right after that, which is Do you know Devilman Crybaby?
I know of it.
I know of, yes.
The same guy who made that, he just made his last animation before retiring called oh god, clear my throat.
That's a wonderful name.
Yeah. Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin, which is about a trio of girls who found an animation club at their school against their school's sort of wishes. And basically the whole show is just like going through in painstaking detail the animation process. Like there's this one episode where they go to get some supplies out of a shack, and they see and like the city they're in is like this sort of really crazy like fantasy city, like something you'd see out of like a graphic novel or something, like some crazy fantasy graphic novel. And though it's in real world Japan, it's supposed to be where it is. And they go to this one part, and there's this propeller on the river, and they start looking at the propeller from a bunch of different angles and drawing it, and like working out how it would move based on its positioning, and what it would look like whenever, like how they would get, they would show that something is animating it and stuff, and like whenever they start doing that, then they jump over into this fantasy world where they're like actually going through the process of anime. It's super cool. It is a super cool show, and I loved it so much. Unfortunately, it was only like 12 episodes, and like none of the manga has come to the West, which is just the worst. Because I really keep reading it.
Is that the one that has like the 3 different girls?
Yeah, one wears like a camo hat.
The anime with the 3 different girls.
Yeah, but the one's like really tall.
Yeah, the one's really tall, and she has like her teeth are always showing. Yeah, and the other one has like a camo hat and camo bag. Super great show. Recommend watching it. It's really good.
It will go on the list.
Yeah, so I watched that one, and then after I started doing that, then I got on a binge of that studio's anime. So then after that, I decided to watch the Tatami Galaxy, which is by the same studio.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched Tatami Galaxy? Have you watched it?
I haven't seen it, but I know, but I've heard a lot about it.
Oh, it's so good. The Tatami Galaxy. It's about this guy in college who wastes his first 2 years of college like screwing around in this one club. So every episode is time rewinds 2 years, and he joins a separate club at his college, and it's how his life would play out if he had joined that club instead. And like throughout all of the episodes, there's this like recurring cast of characters and like this recurring set of motifs that keep happening. And then the last 2 episodes tie it all together, and it's so beautiful. Oh, that's such a good show. I love the Tatami Galaxy so much. And then so continuing on this binge, I decided to rewatch The 90s Short Walk On Girl, which is a spiritual successor to the Tatami Galaxy, about a girl who goes out drinking, and it's basically Forrest Gump the movie. Forrest Gump the anime.
Yes, Forrest Gump the movie. They never made a movie about that thing. I wish they had.
I know that small indie hit novel, Forrest Gump, never adapted or anything. But yeah, that was really good. I rewatched that because I actually saw that in theaters back when it released in like 2017.
Nice.
Super good. And then now I'm on another one of their animes called Ping Pong the Animation, which is basically Rocky, but if it was ping pong.
Yeah, that thing is legendary.
Yeah. It's so yeah, I've watched a lot of anime this past month or so.
That is a lot of anime.
That is a lot, man.
I have not watched nearly that much anime in the past month. I have instead spent my time playing video games.
That makes sense. What all have you played?
So I got Animal Crossing when that came out.
Hey.
I've been putting time into that just about every day since it came out.
I'm sure you'll be playing that for another 3 months.
Only 3?
Only, yeah, you maybe a month.
Like, only 3.
Listen, man. It's the best Animal Crossing. It's freaking great. It's finally superseded Wild World in my mind as the best Animal Crossing.
Wow, high praise.
Because I knew, New Leaf was the best one until this one, but I put like hardly any time into New Leaf. So this one I'm actually putting a good amount of time into, and it's really good.
Yeah, that's basically what I've heard from just about everybody who's reviewed it.
The only thing is like I haven't like seriously played it in about a week. I've just like checked in and dug up the fossils for the day, checked in, made sure I've like bought the KK music that I can buy for the day. I haven't really done much outside of that, which means that my island is starting to get overgrown with empty money trees.
Oh boy.
Because every day there's a little spot on the ground, glowing spot on the ground. If you dig it up, you get 1,000 bells. But if you plant that, it grows into a tree that sprouts money after a few days, and you can do that. You can do that a bunch with different kinds of money. But I just generally do the 1,000 bells that it gives me, just because I always have that on me, and it's just easier. But you can do like up to 99,000 bells. You know, you're not necessarily going to get 3 sets of 99,000 bells, but you will. But you're guaranteed up to a certain point, and then there's a chance of you getting 3 of what you put down.
That's nice.
But once you get the money, what'd you say?
Isn't there a money rock too?
Yes,
Did you
there's
like
also a money rock.
Money will jump out?
Yes, hitting rocks is more important in this game because this game has crafting, and if you hit rocks, you get crafting materials. But there is a money rock every day, but the money rock is like once a day. A rock will do it, but every rock only gives you stuff once a day. The money tree will give you money once, and then it's just a regular tree after that. So at some point I need to go around and just start chopping down those trees. The only issue I've had playing the game has been that my Switch's Joy-Con, the left Joy-Con, the control stick has started drifting really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Yeah, that happens. Apparently, that's been an issue for like everyone.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
Apparently, you can just send that into Nintendo and they'll fix it for free. It's such a problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. But I was a little hesitant to do that because because I thought, well, then I can't play Animal Crossing for however long it takes them to fix it. But then I remembered, wait a minute, I bought a Pro controller that's like a GameCube controller when Smash came out, so I can just use that. So
yeah,
that's helped out because I don't.
Yeah, that's literally what I did. I just went out and bought a Pro controller and sent in my sticks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send those in, but
because it was getting really difficult to play Monster Hunter if my character was moving all the time.
Yeah.
Where I did not want him to go.
Yeah, and the worst part comes when you're trying to go right, but the thing is drifting left, so you're just kind of.
Hey, and you're staying still.
No, you're not standing still, but it looks like the character's just like walking underwater, trying to move to the right. It sucks. But yeah, But now with the controller,
like Monster Hunter, like it got so bad that like I would try and move right, and you try to move left, and you're just kind of spinning in a circle almost, or like just kind of skid on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need to move away from the laser beam now, please.
But yeah, with the controller, that's been mostly gotten rid of. And also, but aside from that, I got on a Final Fantasy binge. I bought, because the Switch has like 5 different Final Fantasy games, and I bought 4 of them. I bought 7, I bought 9, I bought 10, and I bought 12. And 10 also comes with 10 too. So technically I bought 5 of the 6, and I just ignored 8 because 8 sucks. But I played through and beat Final Fantasy VII. I'd started it before all the quarantine stuff, but I finished it during quarantine. That game holds up pretty well, aside from the visuals. Visuals kind of suck, but I find the visuals pretty charming, but they don't look good.
Yeah. With the old block arms.
Yeah, the Popeye models.
Popeye models. I love that. Good.
Yeah. They don't look good, but I like them because they're basically just like 3D versions of what the old Super Nintendo sprites would have looked like.
Oh yeah.
So
makes sense.
I like them in that sense, and you get used to them after a bit. But yeah, story-wise, it's great. Pacing is fantastic. It's just you're going from one location to the next, to the next, to the next. New story is happening all the time, and it's great. Only issues I have are it's an early PS1 game, so things don't look good. A lot of the story is like kind of like once it like kind of brushes past this segment, it doesn't really go back to it. Like Barrett will have his story segment, and then he doesn't really get a lot of development after that. Red 13 has his story segment, and he doesn't really get any character development after that. And because unless you talk to them directly, they don't talk to you at all. They're just kind of stagnant characters after that.
Yeah.
Outside of like a few characters, like Vincent, if you go get his final limit, there's a whole little story thing associated with that. But the game's great. And then after that, I started playing Final Fantasy IX. But before I beat Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out.
Oh,
and I played that. I played the crap out of that. That game is freaking amazing. That is one of the best games I have ever played. Definitely one of the best games I played in a long time.
Yeah.
Battle system's freaking amazing. Music is the best, like possibly the best video game soundtrack ever made. There's like 15 different remixes of the main battle theme, and all of them are good. Same with the boss theme, like from the original game. All the characters feel great. There's a few issues with the game, like air combat sucks. You don't have to do it a ton, and there are characters that have all ranged attacks and don't have to deal with air combat at all. But for the characters that do have to deal with air combat, it kind of sucks because unless you have magic, you just do a regular combo in the air and then fall back to the ground. And the only way you can change that is if you're playing as Tifa and you do this mechanic where she gets longer combos, and that's it. So that's something they could fix. Level design also kind of sucks in a lot of areas. The towns are fine, but a lot of the areas just are really bland and just kind of straight shots to the not so much straight shots to the end because they're not hallways, but it's like you go do this, now you have a clear path to the next place you gotta go. Now you have a clear path to the next place you gotta go, and the only difference,
the 2-layer.
Yeah, and the only difference is like, well, at the very end, there's this one place you go to get a nice little extra materia that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But other than that, it's pretty much just a straight shot to the end. And there's really 2 chapters in particular that suffer because of that. One is
How long is uh how long is the gameplay total? The game total.
well,
The first part.
Final Fantasy VII Original took me about 40-45 hours, and
Hmm.
this game took me about 40 hours.
Good God, the remake took you
Yes,
40 hours?
and the remake
Just
is
for the first section?
yes, it is just Midgar, and
Oh
Midgar in the
boy.
original game
What?
was like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
insane.
There's a whole chapter in the remake that was 2 screens in the original,
God.
Whoa.
and it's great. Like, that chapter wasn't great, but the whole game as a whole, like everything they expanded on, is great. But
Yeah.
I
That'll be on my PlayStation list.
I
No,
highly recommend playing the original game first, because you'll notice a lot more of the things they expand upon, like characters who were just very minor characters getting a lot more characterization and everything, and even the main characters getting a ton more characterization. Like before this game came out, I would say that Zack from Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core was easily the best character in Final Fantasy VII. Now all of these characters are just as good, if not better, than him, because they have a ton of just back and forth dialogue between them. While you're doing stuff in battle, they'll yell at each other, things like that. It's great. Um,
Hmm.
what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I also recommend playing the original game first, because you get to a certain point in the game and you're like, wait a minute, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not supposed to happen.
Yep,
Hmm.
And then the game goes,
that's not
yeah,
right.
that's wrong, and then it fixes it.
It's crazy.
Like here's okay. Here's a little example of what it is. Say they remade Star Wars: A New Hope. They remade the first Star Wars movie. They're remaking it, yada yada yada, whatever. And the the story's pretty normal up to a certain point. There's a few extra things here and there, but it's pretty normal. And then Luke and Obi-Wan go to talk to Han Solo, and Han Solo says, "Sorry, I'm full. I already got a passenger."
Huh.
Hmm.
And then ghosts come out and
Interesting.
break that passenger's legs. And Han says, "Well, I guess I got room
Guess,
now."
guess I gotta be with you now. So
Uh,
like they I guess give characters new motivations for doing things. I guess from what it sounds like, or
It's
are we just using that Han Solo as an example?
I'm using that as an example. Like,
Like
there are
as a
certain characters
freaking
who are very subtly changed, where like one of the party members in particular says some things where you're like, that's not what you would that's not what this character would be. And there's a few
that's not a Final Fantasy VII thing to say.
there's like a few, well, no, they all say things like Final Fantasy VII. The dialogue's freaking great, but it's like Aerith wouldn't say that, or Tifa wouldn't say that. That's not
Yeah,
what they would say. And I have a few theories about that, but that would have to go into spoiler stuff.
and be changing up the story.
And there are things in the story that are changed and then changed back to what to like retroactively fit it into what the original story was.
Dang.
So
hmm.
and then the ending has some wonky, crazy stuff, and I love it. And there are a lot of people who hate it, and I completely understand why a lot of them hate it. Like, some of the things I think they're kind of being dumb about, but there are certain things where it's like, yeah, I can see why. We're just gonna have to see where they go from here with the story. But outside of that, the only other big problem with the game is there's a weird texture bug in the game. So you have like these immaculate, amazing, like best character models I've ever seen talking. Like Cloud and Tifa will be talking, and it's just these gorgeous, amazing, detailed character models. And then it'll like pan down. The camera will pan down to a flower on the ground, and it looks like a PS2 JPEG.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah, I had heard of this glitch, like
Yeah,
where there's one part where they go to a town or something, and like you're looking at the characters in the town, and like it pans outwards like the buildings or something, and everything looks like it came straight out of a PS2 era game.
yeah. And it's been confirmed that it's a bug, and they're
Okay,
gonna fix it, but it's still there for now. So
yeah,
yeah.
I'd heard about that.
And then
It's crazy.
but I wanna go through the game again because once you beat the game, you unlock hard mode, and hard mode
Ooh.
sounds freaking nuts because you can't use items.
What?
You can't use
What?
items, so you
What?
have to use magic or healing abilities.
Oh my god. That's
And
gonna change everything.
and when you sit down at a bench, you only which are basically like kind of like little rest stops. When you sit down at a bench, you only heal your HP, not your magic.
Wow.
So the only
Well,
ways
how do you get magic back then?
it slowly goes up during battle.
Oh dang.
It slowly ticks up during battle. And as
That's
far as I'm
insane.
aware, that's the only way to get that, unless like inns, the very few inns like beds in the game would restore it. And also on top of that, enemies have new moves. So, and there's a certain fight toward the end of the game that has a secret boss. You can only get to the secret boss if you're on hard mode. So yeah,
Wow. Dang. That's awesome.
it sounds great. This is a phenomenally well made game. I highly recommend it to anyone. I recommend playing the original game first if you can stand it. At least play through Midgar just to get an appreciation for what's going on. But I really do recommend going through the whole game before you play this. But if you can't stand old JRPGs, then just go for this one. So then, after I beat that, I went back and I finished Final Fantasy IX. And Final Fantasy IX was the last Final Fantasy game on the PlayStation 1, and it was the last one that the creator of Final Fantasy worked on, and it was also the last one that Nobuo Uematsu, the composer, worked on as like the only composer for the game. He would do tracks for other games, but this was the last one that he was the only person working on that. And it's freaking amazing. It's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It's also really gorgeous. Like, it's insane what they were able to do with a PS1, because all the Switch port does is like upscale a lot of the backgrounds and character models.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's like I think Gerard, the completionist, said at one point about talking about the game. I think he said like you can go like find mods for the original PS1 game that bring it up to 4K, and those backgrounds will go up to 4K because the people who made it were crazy. It's the game's fantastic. The battle system is one of the best I've ever played with. The only thing I don't like is the trance system, which is similar to the limit system from Final Fantasy VII, but worse.
Nice.
The limits in Final Fantasy VII are this thing where once you get hit a certain amount of times, it fills up a bar, the limit bar. Once it's filled up, you get a big giant attack that you can do against a bunch of enemies, and it's really, really good. And you can save it if you want. It holds over between battles and all that stuff. The way trance works is very similar. A bar fills up, but instead of it being an attack, it's your character like transforms, and they get new abilities, and their stats are better and stuff. The only issue is it automatically goes off, so I swear like half the time I got trance, it would be in a random battle, and someone else who I already queued up an attack for would kill the last enemy, and the trance would just go to waste. But there were a few trances, like especially towards the end of the game on some of the bosses, that were really good, but for the most part they were just like maybe one attack I would get off, and that'd be it. But other than that, that's a freaking great game, and I love it, and I wish it got more love. It kind of gets overlooked because it came out on the same console as Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And right before Final Fantasy X, which would become rather popular.
Yes, Final Fantasy X became rather popular, and I have Final Fantasy X, and I will play it at some point soon, but I have Persona 4 to get through.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Finish that first.
Yes.
So is that all you've played so far then?
That's pretty much all I played. I played a little bit of stuff here and there. I played a little bit of The Sims 4 for the first time. I'd never played a Sims game before.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun game. I played, like I said earlier on, I played a little bit of Total War Warhammer 2. If you have Total War Warhammer 2 and you have Total War Warhammer 1, you get a free new campaign in the game called Mortal Empires, which combines like both the maps from the game. So you get this gigantic map, and you can play as any of the factions from both games. So that's really cool. And they're going to come out with Total War Warhammer 3. So I can't wait to see what that does, because that might end up being like the biggest Total War game ever. And then I hope that they get a new engine, because their engine sucks and can only support 2-player campaign multiplayer. Or 2-player multiplayer in general, I think.
That's crazy.
That's a great series. Total War Warhammer 2 is probably the first game I've played in it that I ended up liking like anywhere close to as much as I like Medieval 2. But Medieval 2 is one of those forever games because it's the only Total War game that allows you to edit the maps in terms of modding. So, of course, you get Warhammer Total War, you get Middle-earth Total War, or no, it was Third Age Total War, and on top, Third Age Total War is considered by many people to be not just the best Lord of the Rings game, but possibly the best Total War game, and there's mods for Third Age Total War, the mod.
Oh my god.
It's a forever game. There's mods where, hey, do you like the Middle East stuff? Did you wish it was a little more fleshed out in the game? Well, here's a whole campaign in the Middle East. Here's a whole campaign in this section of the world. Here's just the base game, but we reworked everything, and we added a lot more settlements so that the engine is at its max. It's a freaking amazing game.
Crazy, yeah.
Oh, and the last thing I played was I played a bit of Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Oh, how was that?
That came out on early access. Mountain Blade is like a series where it's kind of a sandbox medieval simulator kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Bannerlord is the long awaited sequel to the game, and it's great. I enjoy it. It's got some major issues, and some of them are freaking hilarious.
That's early access for you.
Yep. I just wish that I could run the game on more than medium settings, but my computer can't handle that game because it's not optimized very well. Again, early access. Yeah,
that's nice. That's very good.
Yeah, that would be about it for me. So,
have you been playing anything, Mitchell?
Yeah, mostly just
Persona 3.
Just Persona.
A little bit of Xenoblade X, because that game never ends either. Apparently. Apparently.
What? Okay, Mitchell. What is the hour count?
Give it to us.
I think I'm up to 300.
300? You're at 300. We broke 300, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That is officially longer than I played any single game in my entire life.
Oh, wow. So, hey, Aaron, remember I showed you Xenoblade X?
I remember, yeah.
Remember the weapon that I had on my skull, the mech? That was just 6 cannons in a row?
Yeah, I sure do.
The super weapon? Well, you can make all sorts of different super weapons for your teammates' mechs.
Oh,
and
boy,
howdy, those take a lot of materials. So that's kind of been my project for a while.
Oh my gosh, Mitchell. When is it gonna end?
I don't know. Every time I think I'm close, it turns out I'm not.
Mitchell, is it going to end before Xenoblade Definitive Edition comes out?
Yes, I think once that drops, I think I'll just drop the game.
Okay, because that's coming
and
out.
And then you'll have another game to play.
I think my main last goal I want to accomplish is beat the in-game Super Tyrant.
Yeah,
in-game Super Boss. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the in-game Super Boss. That's kind of the main thing, but in order to do that, I kind of need super weapons.
Yeah.
I think if I maxed out the mech that I have with augments and stuff, I could like one shot or two shot it, which I'm working on. But I don't know. I kind of want to work on my team too. I want them to help.
You want them to actually be useful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that is about it for all of us.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really left to talk about.
Well, we've gone on for an hour and a half about various video games, anime, and other stuff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this new first relaunch, completely first. There was no other episode of Talk the Plank.
Totally original.
Totally original.
Yeah.
Very much original.
Okay. Do not steal.
Yes, original the character, do not steal. Join us next time where we will discuss more things that we have done and played and whatever, and maybe we'll talk about some other stuff. Who knows? We'll figure it out as we go. We'll do it live.
We'll figure it out.
Yes. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Adios.
Clench my fist in pockets tight. Fire mist tower rays like a merciless storm, dabbling in moonlight. Pride of the